Hello beauties and welcome back to my corner of the internet. If you are new here, then my name is Mariah, also known as Live Life's Beauty, and I'm so glad that you have found me. And if you're a returning subscriber, then thank you so much for joining me again on another video. So in today's video, I'm going to call this cozy crafting. It is currently 3 o'clock in the morning and I have been awake since 2 a.m. and I thought, since I can't sleep, let's get some crafts done. I do have a few crafts that have been waiting to get done, and I think instead of just doom scrolling in bed, it is the perfect time to just go ahead and start them. So I've decided to take you along with me. The first thing that I'm going to do is a tote bag for my mom. I promised her that I would make her this tote bag for her work friend, and I promised that I would drop it off today. So we're going to start off with that project. I've already designed the file. I just need to print it off and print it on the tote bag. So I have my design all ready to go, and I'm going to print it out using Transa Dreams heat transfer paper. I do have it in a light and a dark, and I am going to use it on this canvas bag, which would be classed as a light material. However, I'm going to use the dark material because I did use the light material on light fabrics before, and I just didn't like the colouring. Like, the colours are just a lot brighter using the dark material than they are using the light material. I do have a lot of the light material left, so I'm going to have to use it eventually. But I think I'll use these on projects that I'm not going to like gift to people. I am running out of the dark paper. I think we have 3 more sheets, possibly even 2. So I usually do a test print, but I feel like I'm going to be okay. No, I'm going to do a test print. So what I usually do is I just get a plain piece of paper. I run it through my printer, I print off the image, and then I cut it on my Cricut machine, and I just see how that cuts. And then if it's too big or too small, or the cut settings didn't cut out the image as I'd like, I will go back into Canva and fix that. So let me do that. So the paper doesn't have to be anything fantastic. As you can see, this is very crinkled up. I do just want to make sure that it is not crinkled so that it can run through the printer. Because I put plain paper in, I'm just going to put it to the plain paper setting. Because this is on the heat-proof paper, you don't need to mirror your image, so just remember that. Or with the Cricut, it shows you an arrow of where that is like the top of the paper, I suppose you'd say, because this has printed out landscape. So I'm going to stick it down here. To avoid it from slipping, I just take some masking tape and I just stick my image down on the top and the bottom. And then on my computer, I'm going to make sure it's loaded. And I'm going to use my Bluetooth so I don't have to plug in my wires. Like, I've got it on the paper setting, but close to the vinyl. The only thing about crafting, like in the early hours of the morning, is the noise of the machines. These are not quiet, and I live in a very small space, so I have shut all the doors to the best of my ability, but my Cricut is really loud, and so is my printer when it's printing. It does have a few rips on it, but that's fine because it is the tester image. But we basically just did this just to see how it cut out anyway. Because this is a gradient and this is done on like the Cricut settings and not like a DTF, you kind of have to be careful of how you cut out the image. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm just going to give you an example of what it looks like on the tote bag. This is the biggest I could make it anyway. I think that looks pretty nice. I would have liked it to obviously be bigger or to take up all of the bag, but it's not too bad for the size that we could make. That's as big as we could go. I don't mind the edges being jagged like that because I just think it adds the effect. This was like a gradient effect. When you print using your Cricut machine, obviously you cannot do like gradient effects or like those kind of things because of how the Cricut has to cut it out. So I think it looks really nice. I think what I could do next time though, just to maximize space, is have the design without the words and then cut the words out in vinyl and kind of do that in vinyl just so it like makes a bag a little bit more bigger. But for what it is, it's fine. I'm going to show you the difference between the final image and the tester on paper. You can see the colours are just so much darker. I often get asked like what you can use with this, and you can use an iron, you can use an easy press, and you can use a clamshell heat press. This shouldn't deal with any one of those methods. It has the instructions and the times to set your things to if you're going to be using either of those methods. So Houston, we have a problem. This has cut not on the image, it's cut just a bit below the image, because as it was going through, as you can see, I have not lined up my mat. So this mat is bunching here because it's supposed to be flat here, which I didn't notice until it started running, and it was already past that part. I was thinking, why is the paper bunched up? Like I said, I only have one more of these. So I think what I'm going to do is just manually cut that. See, there's a backing. Peel the image away from the backing gently as possible. You don't want to pull this, but if you just pull this and it stretches, it will distort the image. So you want to just do it as gently and carefully as possible. And then there you can see the paper, and then you can see your image. So I'm going to place it in the center. A piece of parchment paper. This does come with the kit. I'm going to rest it on top, and then I am going to press for 30 seconds. I'm not going to press for the full 60 seconds, because even though this I would class as a full page, I put my whole body weight on it as well, right? Or whether your country has different so that took way longer than I thought. It's currently now 4 o'clock in the morning. I think I finished about 15 minutes ago, but I just packed away all of my stuff before I sat down to show you guys. And this is that finished product, which I think is super cute. What I was saying before the camera really interrupted me by taking up all the memory was that I wouldn't recommend using the Dream transfer paper for like items that are going to be frequently washed, like clothes and stuff, but for items that are not going to be regularly washed, I think it works just fine. Just from my experience of washing the transfer paper, it's not the best. I like to stick to vinyl or DTFs. It's my preferred method. Hello beauties, so in full transparency, it has been many days since the last clip that I filmed, but we are back and we have some projects to get done today. I have quite a few that I want to get through, and I'm going to take you along with me to complete them all. So first on the list is these water bottles. So here in the UK, the kids start back school in September. So my daughter had like a whole new backpack, water bottle, all of that stuff. And she picked out a clear water bottle with the intentions of me to create a design for her and stick it on this water bottle. I only have the Cricut vinyl. I'm not sure how to say like heat press vinyl and non-heat press vinyl. The vinyl, I think it's just vinyl. So the vinyl that I had is all from Cricut, and me and that Cricut vinyl do not get along. Every single thing I have personalised with the Cricut vinyl has washed off or came off in some way or another. So I was really hoping that it would last, but it didn't. It basically had her name on, like a big A, and then her name going through it. It came off. And then the same with my daughter's water bottle. It had her name on, her name, and then her initial. Wiped off. I've had this water bottle for 2 years, and I think this is the only thing it has stuck to and actually worked. And I do use this a lot, but I did have a rose on it that started to wash off, and I did put ISO on to cover up the original logo underneath. To be fair, it has come off. It's been wanting to come off, but every time I've just stuck it back down. So with my one, I am going to take all of this off. If I just show you, if I just peel it, it comes off super easily. So I'm just going to peel it all off. I know some people use isopropyl alcohol on their ones just to make sure it's really clean. I am going to use it on this one and on this one, but I'm not sure how me putting isopropyl alcohol is going to go on this one, because it's got like a, I can't explain it, but it's got a special texture. So I think I'm just going to wipe it down and hope for the best. No isopropyl alcohol on that. So if you have any craft projects that you want to get done, do get them out and we can have a crafting day together. So I've just moved my Cricut one to here. So far it's sticking down okay. I mean, I did peel it off with my fingers and peel it back on. I think I'm just going to go in with my scraper and really scrape it down so that it can stick better. But just so instead of throwing it away, let's give it another couple of weeks before it washes itself off naturally. I went on Amazon and I bought some UVDTF. I've never tried making anything with UVDTF, so this is my first time. It is just an Amazon special, but it did have some good reviews. I think it was about £7 for, I want to say 12. I can't off the top of my head remember. So we are going to do all of these water bottles basically. These are also transparent, so it won't have a white background. It will just be the background of this. Oh my, that was a learning curve. Let me just move that one out of the way. So every single stem, I can't get you in the camera, of the cherry didn't come out. They all got ripped off. As you've just seen me struggling, the design is absolutely cute and it is definitely on there, but I accidentally overlapped the designs before cutting it. So if I'd have moved it out the way, it would have been a perfect like match up, but it was just so sticky, it just ripped it off. So yeah, we do have some imperfections on this one. My kids are the kids that will notice that, but I think because the overall design is so busy, I think it will take a while before she does notice that. We'll try again and we'll know definitely for these two. So now I'm going to move on to this one. This one turned out a little bit better. We do have some spots, but you have to look really close. Like here, for instance, that's supposed to be connected, but it just kind of looks like it's separated a little bit. And then here, where the join was, it was just a bit sparse here. So I just added the sticker in there to fill it up, and then the tiny little diamond from the other one to fill that one up. So I'm just gonna do the last one now, which is my one, and then we are done with those three projects and we can move on to the next one. That I thought would be the easiest happened to be the most difficult. So this one is my water bottle, and as you can see, as I've peeled off the DTF, it's peeled off my actual colouring of the water bottle. It's so strong, it's just peeled up all the coating of my bottle. I don't even know if you can like really see that. So yeah, I'm not happy because now my water bottle looks an absolute mess. I do have some little pieces left because I had to cut it out. I will say one thing with this is, one, it is uber sticky. It's so sticky. And two, wherever you put it, you just have to put it and let go. Like here, I was like trying to go round, but it was going like up. You know, when you try to do a round surface and it just starts going on the slant. So I had to cut it off and stick it back down. But yeah, it's not my best work, guys. It's not my best work. Again, I think I could have used a different colour because it just blends in a bit too much on this water bottle, but I do like it because it actually looks like a very subtle design. So that's as good as it's going to get. We are done with these 3 tasks for today. Now just to see how they hold up in the wash. Obviously, I think this is the best one apart from the error that I made, but yeah. I've just noticed that this is matte as well. This is matte and this is shiny. Can you see? For this project, we are really testing the boundaries here. I'm going to set everything up and then take you along with me because we're going to do some Cricut crafts. Now, with this one, I haven't tested it out, guys, and I'm really scared, but this is a coat that I bought for my son for nursery. If you have kids that go to nursery, you know that they're just really losing everything. So I have decided to monogram all his stuff, and I've decided that he has set nursery stuff now. So this is his nursery coat. It is a little dinosaur waterproof jacket, and I am going to see how this heat presses, guys. I basically found a file off the internet, done all my little doodlings to it, and I'm going to monogram his coat. So he's basically going to have a dinosaur on the back of his coat with his initials on, and then I'm going to shrink it down and also put it at the front of his coat. I don't even know if this coat is made for heat press vinyl, but I'm going to do it with heat transfer vinyl. Heat transfer vinyl. I don't know, heat vinyl, guys. My brain's losing momentum. And then his school bag, nursery bag. Again, I just think it's a boy thing because, you know, there's very limited on what you can buy for boys. Everybody seems to have this bag. And again, they're giving me different bags. They can't find his bag. I'm like, what's going on with his bag? It's a school bag, like should be able to be easily accessible. So I went online and I found a little Paw Patrol design because he's very much into Paw Patrol at the moment. And I'm going to, again, put it on here. Now, I think this would be better with a mini heat press. I only have the big Cricut heat press, so I'm not sure how that's going to go because I don't want to mount the zipper. But I also do have an iron because it does say, I'm looking here because I usually place my camera there, but for some reason I put it down here. So forgive me, I will look into the thing now. It does say that you can iron it on though. So if it's too big and I'm getting a bit too worried, I'll just move on to my iron and see how that goes. But I'm going to turn it to a low heat. I know that this will be okay to be heat pressed because these are heat pressed on, and so is the Nike Just Do It. But this I'm really worried about, and I don't want this to be ruined because I did pick this up for a very, 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 very good price. So if I ruin this, it's not like I can just go to the shop and buy it again for a very good price. So I'm going to set up all my Cricut machine. I'm going to show you the design. I'm going to weed the design. I think the weeding is going to take quite a long time, especially for the Paw Patrol one, because it's just a lot of fine lines, guys. But he's into Paw Patrol. It's super cute. And I decided nobody else is going to have a Paw Patrol night bag, so my baby can have a Paw Patrol night bag, okay? As well as his jacket. I do have another 2 jackets of his that I want to monogram. I keep saying monogram. So he has 2 zip-up hoodies that are, again, especially just for nursery because he's lost it. And when they tried to give me another jacket, it was the jacket, but it was in an older kid size. So again, I think the boys just all have the same clothes because it's cheap, it's cheerful, and it's nursery. So I think all the parents are doing a Primark special. But I'm waffling on way too much about nursery. I'm going to set everything up and then we're going to get going, guys. This is the Paw Patrol design and this is the dinosaur design. I've just remembered now that I need to go in and make the dinosaur design small. So I'm going to duplicate that. And then I'm going to shrink it down. I'm not sure how big the patch is because I didn't measure, so I'm going to measure now. And then I'm just going to show you the Paw Patrol design. How cute. I think, like I said, a lot of weeding, but it's going to be worth it because he's going to be so happy. on me and not my horrific background. But we are at the final hurdle and I don't know what is going on. I wanted to use the scraps of the white and the blue to now do my son's jackets. But the blue one just keeps messing up so much. I think I've tried to cut it now 4 times. So 4th time lucky, I hope. What I'm gonna do now is monogram his jacket. So for his, got two dedicated nursery jackets, one navy blue and one grey, and I'm gonna use the white on the navy, and if this blue cuts, the blue on the grey. If it doesn't cut, we're calling it a day. I'm gonna use my iron for the front and then my heat press for the back. Could use the iron for both, to be fair, because it is big enough, but I think it's super cute. I'm not sure if I've got you reversed, so I'm not sure if you'll see, but I managed to cut it out like this, which I think is just really cute and unique. And I'm just going to do almost like if it was a patch pocket. Reached the end. Thank you so much for joining me today while I got all of these projects done. I'm so happy. So just to recap, we got all 3 of these water bottles labelled. Now I think that was probably my biggest fail. Of them turned out to my level of, perfection. And then we have my son's coat. I think this is super cute. I absolutely love how the back turned out. If you didn't see me do that, I feel like you would think that the jacket came like that. We did have a booby at the front. I ripped it off too fast and we lost his tail. I did try to heat press it down, but I was getting panicky because this was starting to ripple, and I just thought no. So I just cut it off, and I think it's really cute. Again, we have his monochromed jackets, monogrammed, and just for some, plain Primark or Ask jacket, it really elevates it, guys. I was having so much trouble with this blue one to cut out this monogram in particular for some reason. It just was not working for me today. And then the star of the show, guys, my son's Paw Patrol backpack. I am obsessed with this. I cannot believe I've created this for him. I think it's absolutely stunning. He's going to absolutely love this, and there is no way this can go missing at nursery now, and there's no way that they could mistake this bag for any other child's bag either. So thank you so much for joining me. I do love to sit and chat with you guys when I am creating my craft projects. Thank you so much for joining me. Do not forget to leave a like if you did, because like to get likes are the way to kick by you, and don't forget I will see you in another video. Bye.